you are from the South, you better know Kilo Ali, a.k.a. Dungeon Family, a.k.a. Big Boy, Daddy Fat Sex.
Okay, so...
Would have been hot if had he not got arrested. Okay, let's start this podcast, baby.
This is Eminem.
Yo, and it's CG, a.k.a. Wawa, a.k.a. Carolyn San Diego.
See,
listen, I'm okay, whatever.
See?
And this is
Black Meets World. You don't listen. That's your problem.
Yo,
Anyway, so, y'all, first of all, thanks to everyone who's been listening. Shout out to everyone who's been giving us feedback, for following us on Twitter and Instagram. We really appreciate you guys.
Yes, and IG.
Right. Our IG game has been stepped up tremendously, so shout out to my awesome co-host. So we're going to get right into it with some work stories.
Pow. All right. So I had the pleasure of visiting Bluefield, West Virginia. Okay. So I'm boarding a flight. Mind you, I already was delayed 2.5 hours. Get to Atlanta for my layover to come back to New York. And I'm getting on the plane. And, luckily I got bumped up to first class. Hey.
I feel like that's always happens to you.
Whatever. So anyway, it happened. And per usual, I'm the only black person in first class.
That's not true. Weren't you just sitting in front of like a rap artist like 2 weeks ago?
I was sitting in front of Rich Homie Quan.
Yeah.
These are facts. But I did not realize he was on my flight until after we got off the flight. And we were definitely delayed on the tarmac for like 3 hours, and I could have talked to him. Did not realize. I was so pissed that I was delayed. I didn't realize he was behind me the entire time.
All I'm saying is that you're not the only black person in first class.
More than likely, when you're coming from Bluefield, West Virginia,
I know. Okay, sorry.
Or the other great parts of the country.
Go ahead.
These are things that happen. So I'm getting on, and I'm dressed super duper like casual because it's been a long day of travel. I'm dressed super casual, and I'm not in like I got on the plane late, so I'm kind of getting on with the rest of the people who are not in that cabin. So anyway, I'm getting on, and there's a dude sitting below an area that had space. I noticed it's just like I'm trying to put my bag up, my luggage up. Long story short, there's a book bag taking up like an entire area where a big bag could fit. So I politely asked, I said, "Sir, I'm sorry, is this your bag? Would I be able to move it?" And he said, "Are you serious?" What? And then I quickly jumped into action. I was like, "I'm sorry. I don't think I heard you properly. I'm sorry. I asked if you could move your small book bag so I can fit my large suitcase." And at this point, everybody's kind of like turning around slow time, like, what? But I was super polite about it. And then he was like, "I mean, where are you going to put it?" I said, "I'll put it anywhere else it could fit. It's a small, I'm sorry. And I said, "I'm sorry. Is this your small backpack that's up here?" And he said, "Yeah, I mean, that's my travel bag, whatever." So anyway, I quickly moved along, and I was like, "No, you know what? It's okay." And so he said, "Well, no, I can move it." I said, "No, it's too late." And then everybody else on the plane was trying to help me. And then when he realized I was sitting behind him.
Nice. Perfect.
The woman next to me, I was actually in a window seat. He was in the aisle. And the woman next to me was like, "Do you want to trade places so you can kick his seat?" Yo, yes. And then she got the freaking flight attendant. She was like, "She needs a drink." I was like, yo. At least, she was like, "I mean, because your request was so unreasonable." I was like, at least, you know what I'm saying, I don't feel alone in my little world.
He was probably looking at you crazy just solely because he didn't. It's so interesting to me, first class, like when you realize other people are in first of all, I've never been in first class, but I'm just saying, like, what I've observed, it's like a little club of its own. So like you kind of, when you're up there, like everyone's treating each other a certain kind of way.
Family.
Right. So.
And then, guess what? Had the nerve to kind of like watch him as he walked out, and he's wearing a book bag of a company that I mutually work for. Moving along! Okay. And I thought to myself, good thing you did not say anything further. God was shining on me that day. Hey, he was smiling. He was like, "Listen, you better act right."
I would have loved to see that, mostly because I literally just saw Wawa almost really take this lady out on a train.
Wait a minute!
Like ATL came out heavy in one quick ass minute. Like, we got on the train to come uptown. We're on the express train, and this lady, like, she's huffy. You know how, listen, everybody has had a long day. Nobody wants to be on the train. Like, we all hate it. That's the thing. It's a mutual hatred. It's not like anybody enjoys being in the literally 1,000 degree subway. You know what I'm saying? So she hops on this train car, and bumps into Wawa. And I'm like
she comes to me.
Right. That's what was funny. Okay. She walked up on you behind you and then had the nerve to like push her bag a little. So I peep and I'm like, oh Lord, because she's trying to get to the pole that's in the center of the car. Mm-hmm. So I gave her that, but like the way I'm facing, I can see this woman and I can see Wawa's reaction. So I'm like, oh Lord.
When she first pushed me, what was my reaction?
She was just like, shake it off. Yeah, because it's a Subway. Like people get pushed all the time. But then she pushed her again, and she mumbled, like she said something under her breath, and she was like, I know she didn't just touch my back.
Because you didn't hear what she said. Homegirl,
what did she say?
I guess got frustrated that I was in her way, clearly. And she then pushed my bag, touched my bag, moved it to like push my bag, like to mush me with my own bag.
That shit was
and then said, can you please move your bag? And then that's when I was like...
That's when and you should have seen the tense up. And I just grabbed her. And I just...
You deflected so well. Girl, I forgot where I was.
I saw this woman and her whole life flashing before my eyes. I was like, I don't have time for this. Like, I just couldn't. So...
Listen, I ain't got time for no disrespect. My thing is this. Ain't nobody... Like you said, it's a Subway. We all touch each other. But you had the nerve to come and stand next to me and want me... So start now, get out your way.
Yeah.
You better get out my face. And then she came correct.
Then so I literally, all I do is just grab Sia and just turn around like, girl, let go and let God. Like, I keep trying to tell her my story. I'm trying to distract her because I can see. So finally, now I gave the woman a look. I'm not going to lie. Like, I don't want no altercation either. I don't want to have to give nobody the hands on behalf. Like,
she
I'm just
stopped something from really happening.
I'm just trying to chill. So,
because I had to look around. Like, I know.
So she finally at some point is like, excuse me, miss. You know, I've had a really long day. I've been on the train for 2 hours and your bag keeps bumping me. Can you please just adjust it? And so Wawa does the very commendable thing of adjusting her bag and not saying
I would have done regardless.
And then looks at me and goes, was that really touching her? And I was like, yeah, you were. Because you know how on the Subway, like, you kind of rock back and forth a little. And, like, the way she was rocking, she was definitely probably bumping into her. But it was just, like, the way that woman first tried to step, it just wasn't going to go down.
You came to me. Anyway, moving along.
Right, moving on. So, those are our, I guess, work stories. slash commuter life, slash travel, whatever you want to call it.
I had another story. I forgot it. It's going to come back. Don't worry. God. We'll get to it.
Yeah. So, we're actually changing the name of this section to Black Lives Matter, I think. Just because there's just so many...
Hey, Bill O'Reilly. How does he feel? Oh,
okay. So, let's not. So, what we're going to do in this section now is just go through a list of the people that were killed this week that I was able to keep track of.
That was a sarcastic humor. Laugh. Yes, continue.
Yeah. So
these are black people, white people, brown people?
Kind of all over the spectrum.
Love it.
Actually.
Love it.
But we're going to...
Killed how?
We're going to... police brutality.
By police. Yeah. Got you. I just wanted to make sure.
This shade. Okay. So... And then we're going to talk about the underlying tones and the overarching themes.
Got it.
So the first person, like on Monday that I saw, in Choctaw, Mississippi.
I'm sorry, what was this?
Choctaw?
Oh, there was a Native American tribe. Continue.
Oh, I knew it sounded familiar. Couldn't place it. Okay, so there was an activist found dead in a jail cell after a traffic fine.
Wow.
And an arrest. He was 53 years old. His name is Rexdale Henry. So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to go into like full detail about each story because obviously in the interest of time, we don't want to be here talking about each one all day, but it is to bring to light like these things are constantly happening. There was a white woman actually who died in police custody. She was 29. She was booked on an intoxication charge and then was found like unresponsive on her way to the jail. And then she ended up dying. Like they did not provide any medical assistance for her, or when they did, it was too late. And so she ended up dying. There is 24-year-old Sarah Lee Circlebear, who is a Native American mother of 2. She died this week in police custody. There is 37-year-old Ralkina Jones. There's actually no known cause of death for her. And, like, there's really no known, quote, cause of death for any of these people. But she was accused and charged with assault, domestic violence. She was actually probably, like, justly arrested. She had previous charges, and she also, like, tried to run down her husband and his friend with her daughter in the car. So,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and she had been treated for, like, medical or mental, like, conditions before. So, like, she had issues. But, you know, whatever the case, like, she needed frequent medical assistance while she was in jail. And then she, like, went to the hospital, she came back, and then she was found dead. And there were, like, no specific or suspicious injuries. So they don't know if, like, she died from something she already had or, like, what the case was. But obviously all of these things are coming to light as we're coming freshly off of Sandra Bland and Kendra Chapman. We have Jerame Reed. He ran a stop sign and then exited the car with his hands up, and they shot him.
Whoa!
Yeah, from what I read. Raynette Turner, she was arrested for shoplifting in New York. She was a mother of 8. And then she went to the hospital. She didn't feel well. Sad. She went to the hospital. She returned, and then they found her dead, and there's no information released. So
she went to the hospital under police custody.
Yeah. And so this is the other weird thing about it. So there's the underlying theme of, like, medical issues with a lot of these people, you know? Like, they had to go to the hospital, and then they had to come back, or, like, they had some previously existing condition. I don't know. And then last but certainly not least, is Sam DuBose.
Sadness.
Who was killed by a University of Cincinnati police officer for a routine traffic stop.
And everyone saw this video, right? Because it's been released.
So did you watched it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I watched it. And I didn't think I was going to, like, be able to stomach it. But I just still don't know what happened. It happened so fast.
It happened literally within less than 1 minute.
And the thing is, like, he questioned him at every second.
Yeah.
Of the arrest. It was like, is this your car? Do you have a real license? Is that your, tissue on the floor? Like, he was just asking.
Is that your bottle of gin on the floor? And my thing is, like, let's be real, for real. It's okay to have alcohol in your car as long as it's not an open container.
I don't know what the laws are.
Now,
I don't know what the laws are.
By your foot, that's a whole other situation.
Well, because it doesn't
I'm not saying the man was right. And
doesn't it have to be in the trunk, though?
I honestly,
I think it's different in every state. Because I think in Jersey, you have to have it in your trunk and unopened.
Word.
I think it's illegal to drive with it in, like, your regular...
Yeah, I mean, it was literally at the foot of his, like... It was down below by his feet.
Yeah.
And he shouldn't have anything down there in the first place. But that's regardless, because he's been arrested over, like, 30 or 40 times or something like that.
Yeah. I mean...
Which is that's irrelevant, but literally, how does a man feel... How do you as an officer open my mind door? I'm sorry. Let me understand.
Yeah,
is that legal? I don't know.
I don't know if it's legal. And
how do you feel threatened?
And did you see the video of previous arrests that this officer had conducted?
Oh no, girl, go on. Tell me about it. Wait a minute.
So they've released.
You know, he's only like 25 years old, like a young kid.
Yeah, he's 12. He's mine. So he released. There were, like, all these videos naturally, like, humanizing him, and showing, like, how he had arrested people before in similar situations and, like, asked them to do some of the same things, and it didn't have to escalate into whatever. And so they were trying to, like, put him in a humane light that he's not a murderer and all this. But Cincinnati moved quick. Like, they shut down, they evacuated the school.
You know why, though, right?
Yeah, they indicted him. What do you mean?
They said, no more protests out here.
Yeah. And then they
Cincy would have had a fit. I love Cincinnati. Hey.
Listen. Cincinnati is in Ohio. Yeah, I don't...
Yes, it is.
I took a BuzzFeed quiz on the states, and I only got 34 of them right.
Oh, word?
Yeah, that's my geography.
Speaking of statistics, what statistics did you have on arrests?
So, yeah, let's talk about that. So, in looking at all of these cases, I kind of went through and, like, tried to find a few
like that
things.
transition? Just wanted to make it.
Yeah.
Just wanted to point it out.
I tried to find real stats about the things that are happening, because it seems like, maybe Black Twitter are just bringing all this shit to light because it's happening at the same time, and like the movement is happening, and maybe it's all lost on us, but this is real. So the source is from 2003. It's the prevalence of imprisonment in the U.S. population from...
This is over 10 years ago?
Yeah, from 74 to 2001. It's the D.C. Bureau of Statistics. Yeah, it's old, but I think...
And it's just sad because
it's accurate.
It's not changed. But continue.
So, lifetime likelihood of imprisonment for all men is 1 in 9.
So this means that at least at one point in time in your life, you've been arrested, you've been convicted. Imprisoned.
Yes. So I'm not entirely sure if that means you've gone to jail and been held there for, like, a traffic stop.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Or, like, if you've been convicted of it.
Yeah.
I don't know 100% what that is.
Nonetheless, you've seen the bars of a jail cell.
Right.
Got you.
Because you did something.
You had to pay bail. Got you.
Right.
Okay.
So it's 1 in 17 white men, 1 in 3 black men, 1 in 6.
Let's think about that. Also, what are statistics?
1 in 6 Latino men.
Oh no, I'm just thinking of statistics. What's the percentage of black people in the United States?
10%? 11%?
12, 13.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, y'all say hey to Andre.
Hey, Andre.
Hey, how y'all doing?
So he's providing a little fact check for us. Yeah, so 12%. So it's obviously small.
Gotcha. And what's the percentages of Anglo-Saxons in the United States of America?
A lot. A lot. More than everything.
40%? All right. Continue.
No. So, they told us that yesterday.
They did tell us that yesterday.
Dang. It's like 48%. No.
I think the number was something like 14% Asians, 12% African Americans.
Not 14% Asians.
Not Asians.
I think Asians were.
Yeah.
Latino.
Yeah.
What?
Minorities were like around 40%.
Total, right.
Yeah, and Caucasians were like 60%.
Right.
So it was really interesting because I was like, we're slowly becoming more and more multicultural as a country. And the statistics don't change in that manner.
Right.
So then for all women, it's 1 in 56 women, 1 in 111 white women, 1 in 18 black women.
Basically as many as white men. Okay.
1 in 45 Latino women.
All right.
So we can just
meditate on that and move on. I think there's nothing else to say.
Yeah, I think the facts kind of speak for themselves on that one. So yeah, I mean, I actually missed a person. Sorry, earlier in the month, Jonathan Sanders, he was choked to death for 20 minutes on a bridge in Stonewall, Mississippi.
By who?
By an officer. And was not given any...
What's the officer? Are you allowed? Choked?
Yeah. I don't know.
Eric Garner just came to mind. I'm sorry.
So I only saw that like this morning, and there was a white lady protesting it on the bridge, like holding up a sign.
Yes, she was.
But I didn't see...
Hey, Rachel, listen.
I didn't... Shut up.
Come on. Go through, Rachel. All right.
So, the point of all of this is to say that black and brown lives matter.
And we want to bring, we want to make it a topic where we can speak about it in a jovial manner, right? It's not a happy point that we want to discuss. We don't want to keep discussing it, but I think it's important for us to be able to have at least a conversation around it and be educated about it. Because I didn't know all these people died since what, Monday, you said?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, I've only been looking since Monday, and it's Thursday. So it's like crazy. My note, like I'm constantly taking notes on people who've died, which is crazy to me. Sad. Which brings me to the best thing that happened this week on Twitter.
Best ever.
Meek versus Drake.
Oh, I thought you were talking about something else. Wait a minute.
Sorry. Well, because this kind of time.
Those are pretty good hashtags.
Because it brought comic relief.
Okay.
And people were so mad. Like, some people were like, y'all are getting distracted from the issues and blah, blah, blah. All these hotep people who gotta be just about the movement at all times. And I'm like, listen, we're allowed to laugh.
Hotep people?
Yeah, like, we're allowed.
Back to Africa. Okay, I see you.
Sorry.
No, I'm here. I'm here. I'm always here for it. So don't you dare get it confused.
I'm just saying, like, we're allowed to have a mental break. Like, if I'm taking notes on people dying all week, and then Drake just shits on Meek Mill, I'm going to laugh. Like, that is comedy for me, and it's giving me an outlet. Like, damn, I don't have to focus on the fact that someone.
All my life, I had to fight. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know.
I saw some pretty good memes. I saw the Meek, how you gonna come for Drake when you're not even the best rapper in your relationship?
Oh well, yeah.
That was a pretty fun.
And then like the lines. So Wawa has yet to listen to the back.
Yeah, I gotta listen to it.
But basically, Drake just drags Meek the whole time.
Can you give me some quotes?
Yeah. At one point, he's like, "Is this a world tour or your girls' tour?" Ooh. He was like,
that makes sense why I saw that name. Thank you for bringing it full circle.
He was like, I'm back to back like Jordan 96, 97. Like, he just came for him really heavily, and like Meek has been silent.
Drake is an amazing rapper. Mm-hmm. He's good as storylines, lyricism. He's great at that. But Meek is from Philly. And that nigga got guns. And all I'm saying is, we use your words as your weapon, but you can't dodge no bullet, my friend. Especially for his hood friends. Anyway, continuing along on the Twitter, on the Twitters, and Black Twitter to be specific. What's the hashtag?
Black history you didn't learn in school. So I thought this was also really interesting.
Yeah, that was good.
Because there's a lot of things. I mean, obviously, we cannot fact check all of this. Like,
I love how people make up stuff.
Well, but like, there's in no way take us at 100% sure that we're speaking of real facts.
I agree.
We just can't. There's,
disclaimer.
Yeah, there's there's too many things. But like, the first one up here, it says Louis Latimer invented the electric light bulb, not Thomas Edison. Now, I've heard...
Let us know if it's true, y'all.
Here's what I've heard about a lot of these things.
Tweet us.
Like, I feel like in general, black people came up with the base, and then white people like had the resources to actually complete whatever it was, and
That's
they
a
got the
great
credit
way to
for
put
it.
Hello, Elvis. Hello.
Yeah, well, whew, girl.
Continue.
Anyway, yeah.
Another one.
So, I mean, okay, Black history you didn't learn in school. Sarah Bartman was kept as a human attraction in a zoo until her death in 1850.
That's real.
Fact.
That's true.
For her booty.
Yeah, she was basically,
Sure.
She was the original Nicki Minaj, no shots. Continuing along.
okay, the wealthiest man
Mansa
of all
Musa.
time was Mansa Musa,
Billionaire.
a Mandinka ruler of the Malayan.
It's Mali.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Malayan
Let me
Empire.
yes.
I don't know if that's true, but there have been like black.
No, that's fact. That's fact.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. I can help you with the African facts. Don't worry about it. I got you.
Where was the one that you saw earlier? Oh, well, Madam C.J. Walker was a black woman who was the first self-made millionaire in America. That's definitely true.
And that's true to this day. Look at these black women making millions off of hair.
Yeah. Where was the one about the guy that a black guy owned white slaves?
Oh yeah, that was a really good one. He was the first he was the first black slave owner, and his slaves were white.
Yeah.
That was pretty amazing. And they had a photo to match with it. I said, let me find out.
Yeah.
I mean, I know there was black slave owners, but I didn't know they owned white people.
There's like the debate always between like the KKK and the Black Panthers. And this one says Black Panthers weren't a terrorist group like the KKK because they actually like helped the poor and opened schools and did all
Black
these things.
Panthers were a progressive organization. They just believed in carrying weapons, which
Which
the
made
only
them
fundamental
terrorists.
difference.
Yeah, exactly. And
Versus
that's not
being
even a
hate-
difference.
Because
Because the
there's
KKK carried weapons.
No, but they're a hate group. And it's not just black people. They hated Jews. They hated anything that wasn't Anglo-Saxon and Christian.
Yeah, no, that's true.
They're like, you don't belong in our country.
Right. So there's
Speaking of which, they had a full-on march down in Charleston, like on the steps of the courthouse, because y'all took down anyway, they took down the Confederate flag.
right.
And because that woman also scaled that pole
Oh,
and took down the flag.
Yeah, Bree Newsom took the flag down, and then white people in the KKK rallied.
They rallied, like they were
upset.
saying some crazy stuff.
Yeah,
like,
and
you look like the color of tar and defecation, and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, and so as a side note to that, one of my
And
best
they could
friends,
not wear hoods.
one of my best friends was driving down to Greensboro, North Carolina earlier this week, and I was like, "You better text me every minute."
That's
let me
real.
know when you get there, because she's going by herself, and I'm like, you have to drive 3 hours. Like, God only knows what's gonna happen to you. Like, just don't get pulled over. Like, be careful. Blah blah blah. She literally 30 minutes into her drive, she was like, I just saw somebody marching with a Confederate flag, and I was
Sound
like,
about right.
I was just like, okay, well, power to you.
Growing up
So
in Georgia, I used to see like KKK rallies,
yeah, and I never was experienced like the
like
North doesn't
Burning
really-
Cross type shit.
The North doesn't really give you that at all.
It's because you're the Union.
Well, and aside from like all the deep stuff, like there's just things that they don't teach us in school about Black history at all. Like generally speaking, like most people don't know who Meek Evers is, or like a lot of people don't know who Emmett Till is. Like there's just people that you should know.
If it wasn't for Kanye, a lot of people probably to this day would not know who Emmett Till is.
Yeah, so
mean,
there's just a lot of like,
Or even Zulu people. I mean, even Africa.
right.
That's true.
So there's a lot of things that I thought this hashtag was useful for, especially just like the little thing, not just like the deep stuff, but like things that we as Black people generally know about.
Can we talk about Black Wall Street?
Yeah.
How it was burned down?
So Black Wall Street was in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and it was like the most affluent Black community
In the country.
at
Probably
the
in
time.
the world.
Yeah, there's a book written about it, and basically a Black man had some altercation with a white woman, aka he looked at her funny or might have like brushed against her and got arrested for rape. And white people like stood outside the jailhouse and were trying to get him out so they could lynch him and all this. And Black people in the community
Who are affluent and educated
were like, nah.
nah, bro.
So it was basically a standoff. in which, black people were outnumbered, and they just burned down the whole city, and Tulsa got rebuilt.
And never heard about the city or even knew about any type of Black Wall Street at all until maybe college.
Yeah. Or until, last week. I mean, truthfully, someone just told me about that story. Yeah, he's writing a dissertation about it, and I was just like, oh, I didn't know anything about it.
And think about it. Who the hell goes to Tulsa, Oklahoma?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Of all places for something like that, mind you, I've been to Tulsa a few times. I like the city. It's a very beautiful place. Of course, but just perspective-wise, it's in the middle of the country. It's kind of close to Denver and stuff. But still, it's in the middle of the country, and no one really would think that black people live in that type of town or that type of city.
Right.
The only thing I can think of is close enough is OKC, but that's pretty much it.
So...
Girl. Hey, right on.
Who do you want to talk about next? We can talk
I was going to talk about this PTSD that George Zimmerman is going through.
So we're not going to spend any more than 30 seconds on this.
And that's all he gets. Basically, he is distraught, y'all. That baby is tired. He is tired.
He apparently...
all his life, he had to fight.
Apparently, he claims to be homeless, and he's suffering from PTSD.
He's homeless? And I didn't know that part.
Yeah, he claims. This is what he says. Here's the thing. He's been arrested 5 or 6 times since he killed Trayvon. For all types of different things.
Violence.
Carrying a weapon, accidents. There's plenty of the list is endless, pretty much.
I mean, it's not as though his character exhibits violent behavior.
And it's not like his GoFundMe didn't get him mad dough. I don't understand
how he killed a black man. I mean, these are
or that he punched his wife. I mean, there's plenty of things.
Punched his wife many times. Oh, he's only been arrested maybe a handful of times.
Yeah, so
I think 3.
For
punching his wife.
George can take all the seats, as far as I'm concerned.
And his segment is done.
Right.
Moving along.
That's it. That's all we have for you, sir.
That's it.
Next would be The New Yorker. They did
rest in peace to Bill Cosby's character.
Oh my God.
And to the sadness that he has brought.
Yeah, that's pretty much
his career. Everything.
So what they did is had a cover story.
So many thoughts.
With 35 women who were assaulted.
Can we count those? 35.
By him. And it was on the cover, and it's black and white. Y'all should Google. If you haven't seen it, you should look it up.
Point though, 35 women right in the seats, but then they left a 36th open seat.
Yeah, they sure did.
Ultra
shade.
Ultra shade.
And it was just kind of I felt hurt. I just felt like I got punched in the stomach.
Because you know what? They know what they're doing with the New Yorker. These women actually sat down and were photographed, and it's all the same chair. And you actually, when you see the faces and you see that these are women, these are some celebrities, they're all races, everything that's in here. And rape, molestation, or anything of that nature where a person is violated and they feel that they are taken advantage of, especially when you are drugged, is not okay. But because Bill Cosby is a person we grew up with, it just hits home in such a different kind of way. Because when I saw it, I was like, nah, Bill didn't... Yo,
not all 35.
Right, that's so many. Yo, I said that too. I was like, when I first saw it, I was like, yo, seriously? It's one thing to have sex with 35 women. It's another thing for you to strategically drug and then take advantage and rape, molest, or make advances on this many people. And then it shows the years that they had it done. Yo, it's sad. It's so sad.
And it's really crazy also because it's this. I don't know the specific statistics for it, but it's some crazy statistic that 1 in 3 or 4 women are going to be assaulted or raped by the age of 30 in their lifetime. It is really, and I know people who have been assaulted and stuff. And I don't take it lightly at all. And so but I felt a way about it. I was just can you really? What's in your mind that you've done this 35 times? That you have thought about this 35 times and then done it 35 times. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know how you get on the train.
And your bill. When do you have to
you're damn, I want to knock this person out. Or but you don't actually do it. That thought process amplified to harm people 35 times.
And these are just the ones that took pictures and stepped up.
These are the ones who had the nerve to speak, not the nerve, the
confidence in the, and I was going to say the ovaries. I was going to say balls, but I was like,
I didn't know where to go.
But nonetheless,
I was going to say balls, and I was like, that's incorrect.
Yeah, who have the willpower and confidence to step up and speak out on this injustice. Because think about the shame that comes along with this too. Mm-hmm. You know, you always get those questions like, you couldn't prevent it. You know, those are the questions that unfortunately come up. And for them to actually make a stand, I'm very, very happy they did so, because it makes me realize, okay, you're not alone, and you now are confiding in other women who now make you realize, like, I'm not the crazy. Because imagine you being a young whippersnapper, and the one man who's on TV and is a positive role model, and you tell your friend, family, or whoever, oh yeah, you know he raped me. What?
No one would believe you.
No one would believe you. No one would believe you.
People still don't believe them.
Yep, that's some real stuff.
And it's
what do y'all feel like? Do y'all believe God? You think he did all this? At this point, the numbers, Andre, how you feel, Andre? We need a male perspective.
We do actually need a male perspective.
I mean, any type of sexual assault, rape is deplorable and definitely not okay. And whether it's Joe Blow that does it on the street or Bill Cosby, it is wrong. However, to play devil's advocate, do we take any issue at all with sort of the court of public opinion thing that's happening right now, where he hasn't been tried, I don't think.
No, not at all.
Fact check me, right? So he hasn't been tried for any of this. Socially and in the media and, certainly, the stakeholders in his career assume that he's done this. So because
we did talk about this
a
couple episodes ago, because we were talking about like the comparison with Woody Allen, and we were just saying like people have assumed, and kind of Whoopi was saying that she didn't know if he had done it because he had never been tried and convicted. And so that's the whole question, like, are you innocent until proven guilty at this point, when you have a whole article dedicated to 35 women claiming this one thing? Ooh. Like, where is the, quote, justice system intervening in this?
Yeah.
Where, this is a fine line, and I think it's been crossed personally. In the law wise. I mean, it's just, it doesn't matter now what they say. Even if he's innocent, if a jury finds him innocent, it doesn't matter. Because everybody will think he's guilty.
Yeah. Right.
They persecuted him. It doesn't matter what happens to him
in the court of public opinion.
Yeah, that's it. So, they've just, he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's done.
Sadness.
It is sad, because I miss the TV Land reruns.
And it's such a larger conversation.
It is. Yeah. So, speaking of people whose careers ended, what? This wasn't going to be funny. I was going to say...
No, I'm waiting.
I know. We all...
Because y'all have to understand Eminem's, disposition. She is the driest humor. And, no expression when she says stuff. So we over here sitting with anticipation, I don't know what she about to say.
No, I was going to say R.I.P. Bobby Christina.
Oh, God.
Yeah, no, that... My heart is just throbbing with pain.
I'm happy she's at rest.
Yeah.
She suffered for a very long time.
Yes.
Not just after it happened, the incident, but just dealing with just everything. Growing up in the spotlight, having both of her parents, on drugs.
Half that family's on drugs,
and then, right? And then growing up in that, growing up witnessing that, who else knows what she witnessed?
And then your mother,
you're the only child
dying under real suspect circumstances,
right?
From drug, it just,
it's tough.
So y'all, I don't know. A lot of people know this about me. Some people don't. I'm a huge Whitney Houston fan.
Okay.
I cry every time I watch Waiting to Exhale just because she's in the movie. I love Whitney.
Bodyguard, how you feel?
Girl. Whew. And I watched the funeral on TV and cried. I watched Sparkle after she died and cried.
I can't even see you crying.
That's the thing. I'm a movie crier though.
Oh.
I am a movie crier. But generally speaking,
I'm a movie talker though. So.
I'm sure. I believe that.
Maybe entertaining.
I believe that 100%.
Hey, Magic Johnson.
So, yeah, I don't know. It just was weird because she's also, my age. It just is weird when you see celebrities
and
like
the way it happened.
Yeah, just the circumstances under which it happened. It just was like her mom just died. It feels like she just died. It's been 3 or 4 years.
Oh, yeah.
But it feels like, it was yesterday. Mm-hmm. She's also buried in the same cemetery as my grandparents.
She is from Jersey.
Yeah.
Hey, Whitney, she is.
She's buried in the same cemetery as my grandparents, and I'm 95% sure they're also burying Bobby Christina there. So I'm just I'm just super emotional about it for no reason.
Aww.
Yeah. So yeah, that's happening. Which is pretty sad. So let's talk about how they found the plane wing for the Malaysia flight.
Finally!
Today, they confirmed, quote, that this wing, meanwhile, this plane's been missing for 16 months because I know it was last year, like March last year.
I ain't got time for it.
Because
listen, you can tell me a man can go to the moon, but you can't find a plane that was flying on Earth. I have no time for you. And then it happened to wash up on land. I have no time for you.
What?
I have no time for it. Moving along. Oh, did you hear about this Bill O'Reilly thing?
So I've only heard about it in the news. I actually don't know what happened.
So Bill O'Reilly was basically, okay, obviously we know Bill O'Reilly, Fox News. He is very right-winged. He's the one who basically he will make a campaign if he feels strongly about it, he will make a campaign for that action. So that's how he got Ludacris kicked off the Pepsi campaign. And currently he is talking about Black Lives Matter movement, and he said that he called it a what do you call it?
Oh,
you know about it. You already know. He called it basically a
terrorist. It's the best
terroristic. I want to make sure I quote this accurately. He said, "So how do you all feel about Jay-Z and Beyonce supporting a terroristic organization?"
Right. And then DeRay and Netta, they're like the two kind of people who are heading the movement on social media. And that's not even really fair because there's so many people and there's so many layers.
And by the movement, she means the Black Lives Matter.
Yeah.
They had all the rallies.
But they've been put on like a terrorist list. Like they've been named as like potential terrorists.
They next to Asada? Okay.
Girl.
All right.
Not Asada. Yeah, like I heard about that. I did hear, and I can't believe that that's a real thing. Like, is it not domestic terrorism that black and brown people keep getting killed? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Because what violent action have we taken?
But what makes it terrorism if they are trying to prevent and save lives? Prevent lives from being slaughtered, and also save those that are currently trying to make it known, like, hey, guess what, guys? Let's make sure we pass this message along that we are getting slaughtered, because obviously mass media is not seeing it.
Mass media doesn't care. CNN took hours to report on Sam DuBose. Hours. I'm over it. Whatever. It kills me because these are people who have influence, and like we said about Trump and Bill O'Reilly, all these people have all this money, and they're the face of certain things, and people listen, and that is what kills me. There's a guy, so Representative Hank Johnson, he's a Democrat in Georgia.
Hey.
Shout out. He is calling for the resignation of a local county commissioner. This guy, John Douglas, he used to be a GOP state lawmaker. And he basically commented on a photo of a black woman
on Facebook.
She was making like an offensive gesture toward the American flag, and he commented
American
on
or Confederate?
American
flag. Got it. And
it said U.S. flag, so I assume that it's just the flag in general.
Okay.
It said she's nothing but a cheap streetwalker Negro who lays down for a white man.
Boom. And let's discuss the fact that this man used the word Negro.
Well, you know what's
besides
funny?
all the way
colorful written,
commentary he used.
The way it's written in the article is that it's spelled like knee and grow. Like K-N-E.
I see the play on words. But sir, you're old enough to
we know you know better.
No, but he's old enough to have actually used that word, and it was perfectly acceptable.
Yeah.
Like, he grew up.
I'm sorry, you're from backcountry Georgia. Right. Let's please discuss. And you were what? A lawmaker? Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's a local county commissioner. So, I mean, that's all I'm saying. To add insult to injury, lawmakers are out here influencing these decisions. And it just doesn't make any sense to me that, like, these
are people in positions.
Yes, they're in positions to make change. And it's not
these are their personal thoughts.
And it's just not going to help. It just doesn't help anybody of color, period. What no matter what color you're talking about. It just doesn't matter. It just doesn't. I mean, we're representing black and brown, but you could be of any race, and these specific types of people are
even gender.
Yeah. So we're gonna wrap up. That's probably the end of the trending topics. We're gonna end with some funny dating story,
girl,
or lack thereof.
Listen, what you got?
We were mostly inspired by our friend. Oh, y'all remember Ashley? She went on a really horrendous date, and she told us about it yesterday. And
it's one of those awkward ass dates.
Awkward and just ridiculous. So
why am I here?
We decided that we were just gonna. We have plenty of these stories also. So we would tell these stories. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Do you want to share one?
I'm good right now. Next time.
So I mentioned to y'all that I was using the dating app Bae.
Hey, babe.
Hey, babe.
Choose or get chose.
Hey, love it.
And so I was actively using it for about a few weeks. And I went on a few dates, whatever, but this is the date that almost was. So I met this guy. So on the app, first of all, you just have your profile. It's like your picture and whatever your little about me. It's like linked to your Facebook, yada, yada. Download it if you want to see. So you get to swipe left and right. It's pretty much the same as every dating app. And so at the time, I was in the not caring and just swiping right or whatever for the likes. So this one guy like chats me with all the emojis with the heart eyes about one of my pictures. And I was like, oh, hi, thanks, whatever. So we end up like chatting, whatever. And basically like we were texting like pretty soon thereafter, and we just kept missing each other. Like at the time I was super busy and he had stuff to do, and so we weren't really in the same place at the same time. Fast forward to 2 weeks ago, we were supposed to meet. He hit me up on like a Sunday and was like, yo, what's up, blah blah blah. He was like cooking out or something, and I couldn't go because I was somewhere else. And I was like, oh, well, I'm actually kind of free this week. Like, what do you want to do? Blah, blah. He's like, oh, let's hang out this Wednesday, this, that, and third. I'm like, all right, bet. So the next day comes, Monday. I hit him up and I'm like, hey, so like when and where do you want to meet? On Wednesday. Meanwhile, this man has his read receipts on. So I can see that he saw this text.
So disrespectful.
And did not respond.
My friends even have read receipts just so you can know that they read it and they have not responded.
I didn't know they did that for texts.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have an iPhone.
You get an Android, baby.
I'm team Android. Okay.
So, whatever. He reads the text and doesn't answer. So I'm not feeling any kind of way about it, mostly because it is what it is. But naturally, my homegirl, Wawa, knows this man's whole life because she knows every black professional on the island.
And he's not even on the island. He's on the
whatever. So I hit her up because we have like some mutual like LinkedIn friends or something, and so I hit her up and I was like, yo, so what do you know about this guy? And she told me, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So when I had like hit him up about going out, I was a little more comfortable at least knowing that like other people know him. He's kind of in a certain circle. He's not a serial killer. Yeah, he's not a serial killer. Hopefully he's, like a decent person. So long story short, he never hits me up or hits me back, and then we go to Grits and Biscuits and see him there.
I said, you need to walk over and say, what's up?
I said,
make it real uncomfortable. I'm here for the uncomfortable moments. Make it nice and uncomfortable as you walk up too.
And
like, mind you have not met in person at this point.
Yeah. We've never met in person.
Only on the app and text.
So I just didn't do anything. Because mostly, like, I just don't care. Like, I could have blew up his spot, but it wasn't worth it. Like, I was just like, I'm not going to... This man has no potential in my life.
But more importantly, what happened afterwards?
Nothing. I mean, we saw him. We saw him a few times. I'm sure he saw me.
He definitely saw you.
Oh! After the party.
That's what I'm saying.
LOL. So, while this few weeks of texting was occurring, naturally he asked me if I had an Instagram. So we end up following each other on Instagram, which I'm tired of that. Like, I'm tired of these, I'm tired of y'all asking for Instagram names. Like, that's a pickup line. Hey girl, you got Instagram? Yes. What's
to be honest with you, if you really want to know my real life, you better follow me on Instagram because that's the only way you really know.
And that's so true.
It's like, oh, you want to peek into my world? Oh,
my life on Instagram is exactly how my life is in real life.
Yes.
So
facts only.
I was just like, whatever, fine. I don't care. So what killed me was a week later when I posted this picture. I had taken a selfie with Trina. I posted that picture as TBT, and he liked the picture.
How's got the goddamn nerve? Let me tell you something.
I was just like, naturally. I'm so tired of y'all Negroes coming out of the woodwork, asking us for this, wanting to follow us, wanting to do this, that, and the third, then got no follow-up game. And then your like game is on fleek for what? Stay out of my Instagram. I don't want to see anything about you. Like, and I'm not mad. Like,
She's serious about it.
Good for him. I'm just saying, like, I'm so tired. Like, I talked to my friend the other day. I was like, girl, I told Andre this yesterday. I was
Don't disrespect me. How you gonna ask me out, then not follow up, then see me, not say nothing, and then have the nerve to like my picture on Instagram from the event that you were mutually at. Get out my face. Yeah. Anyway, so moving along.
That's exactly how I felt.
So I recently this was like in April. I met this dude in April. And we met at this restaurant, Miss Lily's or whatever. I'm naming everything. Met at Miss Lily's. And so we, exchanged info, or my friend passed me my number. That's what happened. My friend passed me my number. No, my email. What? I was like, girl, she have
some contact. Go ahead.
Pass something. Cause I'm like, how do we originally start talking? So anyway, he starts emailing me. And so I was like, oh, that's really professional. Cool. We can email. And so on his signature, I see like EVP written. I was like, oh, this brother got a job. Oh, no, right, y'all. Yeah, both of y'all faces was like, wait a minute now. Wait a minute.
I'm giving a doubtful sign.
Go on.
Go on.
So,
well, the reason it's this in this grouping of stories it's for a doubtful sign. So, I'm like, okay, cool. Because of my life, I never am in town. So he asked me out he's like, oh, what are you up to? Let's go out this week. I was like, oh, about that. I don't really live in New York. I just pay rent here. So I'll be back this weekend. Let's link up this weekend. So we lost touch for whatever reason. And I happened to be jogging like 2 weeks ago, like in my neighborhood. And I'm like, what are the freaking chances this motherfucker lives in the same neighborhood I do? I see him. And we make eye contact and I'm like, is this him? So he sends an email a few days later.
Wait. Did y'all talk?
No, I kept running. He sends an email a few days later saying, hey, I think I saw you jogging in my neck of the woods.
I'm so over it.
And I was like, you're absolutely right. So he was like, yo, where do you live? I was like, oh, I live here. He was like, oh, wow, I live 5 blocks away. And I'm like, what?
This would be ideal if he had.
Ideal. I'm like over here thinking, oh my goodness. Yes to a local boo. Hey! It could be something cute. I feel like he's educated. Let's go, because, to find an educated, common sense people. That's rare in between.
Oh,
anyway.
Side note. Shout out to Andre. He's all of those things.
Yes.
Yes. Appreciate the shout out.
Yes.
AKA.
Friend zone real quick, though. Love you
Chill. That's not.
Anyway, right. Sorry. No, but this is the homie from back.
We go way back.
Way back. So anyway, we ended up like texting, and so all I know is this. We had plans to go out on Saturday. He says, I'll text you. I'll pick you up and we can go to a restaurant in the neighborhood.
These lies they tell.
So he says, I'll text you when I'm on the way. So he says, I'm on the way. I'm always late to everything. This is what you know about me. So I come downstairs 10 minutes later. Mind you, he only lives like a minute away. I come downstairs 10 minutes later. And then I get a text when I'm like, waiting there for a second. And he says, oh, my bad, I'm on a phone call. I said, all right, there's a block party down the street. I'm about to go walk over to it. You'll see it when you arrive.
Is this last week when the block party was?
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. That was the day that you left.
Got it.
Boom. So about 10 minutes goes by. It's hot.
Yeah, it was.
I go back upstairs.
Trifling outside last week.
I take off my clothes and I hop in my bed and I proceed to take a nap. I wake up hours later. No text, no call. And I thought to myself, I know this motherfucker did not. So anywho.
Right, like did we get stood up in these circumstances?
So first of all, I've never been, listen.
And so
I know, we both know what we're capable of, right? There's so many ways to make this very easy and straight to the point. I'm just very confused when people just lead you to the, lead you
the door. Like, they get you there. They might open it.
Lead me to the fire. Because you now over here trying to burn me. Is this intentional? I'm sorry. Do you have, something against me? So then he calls me and says, I'm so sorry. I got drunk. What? Were you just on a call the last time you communicated with me? So at this point, my curiosity is fully in place. At this point, I've excommunicated you out of my life, but my curiosity just to understand what your decision-making skills are now in investigative mode. So I said, I don't understand what has just taken place.
What's the connection?
So he says, this is and this is like one of our first times talking, like, we don't even talk. Like, and I mean, as I think about it, you've never actually called me. So at this point, I realized there's something fundamentally wrong with this man. So he says, well, I can come and pick you up right now. I said, yeah, come on by. Mind you, I had full plan. I was leaving the house anyway. I had plans that night. He was like, yeah, we can go get a drink. I was like, yeah, that sounds fine. Knowing good and well, I had no plans on going to drinks with him. But for curiosity's sake, he gets here, has a very nice luxury car.
He drove here?
Yeah.
From 5 blocks away?
No, because he had been somewhere else. Girl, this is like hours later. Because clearly he had other plans that day. So, gets here. I am talking to him. And when I tell you, I realize this is not the person I thought you were. Literally, it was the most awkward, interaction I've ever had. And it dawned on me, this man has mental problems. And I fundamentally believe that he has Asperger's or something. Literally, our interaction was the strangest thing I've ever encountered in my life. And it just dawned on me Carolyn, that's not you. All right. That's all I needed. As I say, he was like, oh, so where do you want it? He had this weird, also he's he's like a pale man. So I didn't know what his race was. But then he started to talk. I was like, oh, you sound like an old, let me not be.
How old was he?
I don't know to this day. But his mannerisms and the way he spoke just dawned on me at that moment. I was like, ugh, I don't want to be here. And usually I'm like the sucker to be like, oh, I'll be nice and entertain someone and not be mean. I couldn't even do it. He was like, so where do you want to go? And I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I already have plans. He's like, well, do you want me to drive you? I was like, no,
Oh, that's creepy.
It was so creepy. And so I was like, well, next time. He's like, oh, wait, you have plans? You must have a date. That's what you're doing. Oh, you're going downtown for a date.
Girl.
And that's when I realized, oh, this man has problems.
People are
Because
crazy.
he also said, he was like, well, I mean, if you want any company tonight. What? Are you out of your... Okay, that's when I realized, okay, you have problems. And I don't want anything to do with you. He said literally everything you could possibly say to ruin something.
Yeah.
And then the mannerisms made it even worse.
It's weird when guys...
It got better.
Do that.
As I walked out the car and I walked away, I heard his car off. And then I immediately get a text saying, please delete my number. If your date tonight downtown is more important than seeing me, I have no more interest. Then he said, you look very beautiful, by the way, but I just want to make it clear, if you don't have the same interest level as I do, I'm no longer interested.
Y'all, I'm sleep.
What?
I'm sleep.
It gets better. It gets better.
It can't get any better.
My best friend.
It literally
who
can't get
will
any
remain
better.
nameless.
Please remain
Happened
nameless.
to be at an event at the Apollo on Tuesday. And a man by the name of Joe, I should name his freaking last name just to let the world know, by the name of Joe sat directly next to her. And as he gave her his card, she was like, why does this man sound so familiar? And she said, oh, I know you. You went on a date with my best friend. And she said my full name, all 5 names of my full name too. And I was like, yo, you really said my full name? She was like, yes, yeah, said your full name. I was drunk. I didn't care. She was like, I shamed him. And he was like, oh, I'm sorry. I think you might have the wrong impression of me. Tell her I'm so sorry. Tell him I'm so sorry. I was a little drunk that day. I'm so sorry. And then after she said, no, I'm not going to tell her that. He proceeded to walk up to her and ask her questions about me the rest of the night. And that's when it dawned on me, I think this man has mental problems. But in other news, I think it's best to say that you just never know you can never judge a book by its cover.
Also, don't give your number out to people. That's actually what I've learned. I learned that the other day.
Don't talk to strangers. Go straight home after work.
Follow the rules that your parents...
Don't ever actually date anyone after...
That your parents gave you when you were a small child. Look
you
both ways before you cross the street.
You should only have arranged marriages in this lifetime.
And don't talk to strangers. Literally, that's it. Don't take drinks from strangers. Don't give out your business card because it has an address on it. There's just so many things.
Let me stop playing games because I'm kind of dating somebody and he's been nice. So let me stop playing.
Must be nice. Okay, so here's the thing. I'm going away this week, so we will not have an episode for 2 weeks. When we come back, we plan to have a guest.
Oh, it's going to be popping.
And
get excited.
We are also looking to launch our website soonish. We're a few things have to fall into place, so we're definitely working on it.
We got a timeline, y'all. It's going to be a website.
Yeah. We are trying more and more to be legit. Also getting an official icon and doing some stuff. So just be on the lookout. Follow Follow us on Instagram, black_meets_world. Shout out to C for stepping our game up. Follow us on Twitter, blackmeetsworld. Send us an email at blackmeetsworld@gmail.com with any of your suggestions.
That's it for me.
I think that's it. Thanks for listening, everyone.
Pow.
We appreciate you all.